Yes, it's always a pleasure to have you on Insight. My name is Lawrence Omoiti. On today's edition of Insight, the defense sector will come under the microscope. The last 2 years have been remarkable year for the military, led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Chris Musa. The giant strides the military leadership has made in combating insurgency, oil theft, and other security challenges have been impressive. One of the key areas where the military has shown significant improvement is in the fight against insurgency. With a renewed focus on strategy and coordination, it has been able to make substantial gains against terrorist groups. This is a testament to the leadership of General Chris Musa and the hard work of the troops on ground. Our guest on Insight today is the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Ganje. Major General Ganje previously served as at the headquarters of the Nigerian Army Corps of Artillery. His expertise in operational strategy and media relations is expected to strengthen the defense headquarters' efforts in managing public perception and countering misinformation. A Citizen FM had a sit-down with Major General Ganje in his office at the defense headquarters in Abuja over key defense issues ranging from current campaign against insurgency to the protection of Nigeria's territorial integrity and a lot more. Stay tuned, Insight will be back shortly. Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. And we are x-raying the defense sector. Our guest, as I said, is the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Ganje. General Ganje took out time in giving us an update on the tough job of handling insurgency. Let's listen to him.
Well, when you say once you are given a job, you should read yourself into it and understand the job very well and apply yourself to it. So far, so good. I've been doing it. I have been here for the past 1 month or so. Well,
General Ganje there, trying to downplay the efforts they are putting in protecting Nigeria. For the country to have comprehensive security plan and also record a seamless and effective success in the various operations, the synergy between the different arms of the Nigerian Armed Forces has also been seen to be at play. This has led to a significant improvement in the campaign against insurgency. Once again, General Ganje gives a perspective.
when you say the armed forces, you are talking about the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Air Force. In some climes, they call them defense forces. For instance, when you look at the South Africa, you hear South Africa Defense Forces. When you look at Israel, you hear Israeli Defense Forces. But in Nigeria, we have them as Army, Navy, and the Air Force, which is still the same. Now, the armed forces of Nigeria is constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria by land, by the Army, air, by the Air Force, and through the sea, by the Navy. So for us to have a comprehensive security plan through an organized security architecture, there is no gainsaying that we must have to synergize together. And unfortunately, we have been faced with some security challenges around the country. In almost all the geopolitical zones, there is one kind of threat or the other. And as it is, not only one service can address these security challenges. The Army, the Navy, and the Air Force must have to come together and then cooperate and synergize their efforts so that collectively we can address this. And also note that when we say the armed forces, The armed forces alone cannot even address these security challenges that we have. So we have to also people like you are addressing security challenges in Nigerian armed forces and other security forces.
Well, the biggest endorsement this year came from the military. This, the general sees as a call to officers and men of the Nigerian military to give their all.
President of our country has in the armed forces of the nation. And as an officer of the armed forces of Nigeria, and particularly the Nigerian Army, who are at the vanguard of addressing the security challenges, I feel happy, I feel proud, and I also feel honored that the president will come out to endorse what we are doing, and we are happy, and that also gives us the more impetus to do more on what we are doing.
Many Nigerians believe the military is inundated with too many responsibilities, some of which could have ordinarily been handled by the police. Some even believe these added responsibilities are putting a toll on the Nigerian army.
Thank you very much. Yes, you are right. The Nigerian military is inundated with various security threats across all the geopolitical zones of the country. When you look at our northeastern part of Nigeria, you will realize that we are faced with challenges of terrorism. You go towards the northwest, we have issues with criminal gangs, illegally armed groups, some call them bandits. When you go towards the North Central, we are also faced with issues of farmer herders, and these are people that are causing havoc. Their actions are becoming more terrorist in nature. Crude oil theft, and some people that also go on criminal menace such as ritualist tendencies. And going south, we also have, even though in the southwest now, I can say is one of the regions of our country that are a little bit safer with less agitation, but it is not totally zero. So in the heart of the country, it is not possible. The military constitutionally have their own responsibilities, other security agencies have their own, and the police, who are supposed to be closer to the people, who are supposed to be at the grassroots, require what it takes to do this job as well. Otherwise, some of the conflict areas you see military going in, ordinarily some of them are police actions that the police can enter unquestioned. For instance, when you were young, you will realize that police were not carrying weapons. They carry these sticks, and that is why in Hausa language they call that sanda. Sanda means that staff they carry. That was just what they used to control, to enforce law and order. But because the criminal elements have taken up arms, which has gone beyond what that police stick can, control, the police has now started carrying automatic weapons. And some of the criminals, again, have gone beyond that to take what is even more than the police. And so we cannot just watch and say, this is the police role, this is this, or the army should. No, we have to come out now when it has gone beyond the police, because in internal security operation principles, there are instances where if a conflict or even more passion has gone beyond what the police can contain, they will invite the military to come in. And we come in because it's our nation, it's our country. Whether police, military, what we want is we want normalcy. We want security of our nation to be okay for normal life to go on. People should go about their normal businesses, devoid of molestation. So once we achieve that, we will be okay.
Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Ganje, giving us an update on situations around the country. We also took him up on the situation in the southeast and the allegations that the military is sometimes accused of high-handedness in dealing with suspects, a situation which she said was far from the truth.
Well, when you say high-handedness is a relative term. Why am I saying it's a relative term? What defines high-handedness? These are people that have come out taking arms in Nigeria. If I may ask, in what other way can the government use its military to subdue this armed group? ESN hideout, we go after them. And there is nothing like high-handedness. When you say high-handedness, what, for instance, if you can give an example, then we can now talk better about it. Well, if you say the military is arresting and summarily executing citizens, I will now want to buy into that idea. You know, people can pass narratives based on what they want, their interest. I cannot see a reason why member of the Nigerian military will make arrests, get the whole of the person, and move the person to a side and summarily execute him. No, it's against the law of war. It's against our operating principles. It's against our code of conduct, and it's also against our rules of engagement. We don't do that. If in the course of exchange of fire between our military and terrorists, insurgents, IPOB, somebody dies, of course, that is what you cannot. That is not what you cannot prevent, because there was an engagement, there was an encounter, there was firefight, and you are using live ammunition. And so, what does that mean? If it hits somebody, the person can go down. But that we make an arrest, something like that happens, and the military get to know about it, I think that person will face the same fate.
From the southeast, we've moved to the northwest in the country. And there is this group, the Lakarowa group, that has been causing some much discomfort in that part of the country. The military said the activities are being monitored, and that the army is on top of the situation.
Well, thank you so much. The Lakarawas in the northwestern axis of our country. Now, let me carry down memory lane about the Lakarawas. You know, it is a group. The term Lakarawa literally means recruits. It's a Hausa word. Recruits. And they originated in Niger, Abinishu, during the rule of Barry Mainasara. He recruited these guys and armed them. Why did he do so? He did it in order to protect the pastoralists in Niger against people coming to rustle their cattle. And so they were genuinely trained. They had a training camp by the government so that they can perform that role of protecting the farmers, the pastoralists, so to speak, so that those that come to rustle their cattle, they can fight them. Unfortunately, after the assassination of Albert in 1999, there was a problem with the Lakarawas. Those that came to power said they should disarm them. Others were not in support. So what do? Because of that disagreement, the Lakarawa started losing control of them. Their leadership started disintegrating. And finally, when Libya fell under Gaddafi, and then the French activated an operation called Operation Sava in Niger. The Operation Sava hit hard on the found themselves melting into Nigeria through our northwestern border. So the report of their coming to Nigeria, I think, came around which month last year, 2024. And Nigerian military did not waste time. Immediately, the military heard about the infiltration of the Lakarawas. We hit hard on them. And these days, the Lakarawas, I don't think they have a foothold, a particular place they will say, this is where Lakarawas are in Nigeria, northwestern region. The military has hit hard on them. And I remember that there was even an airstrike on their base, which decimated so many of them, and they were running helter-skelter. So for now, I don't think they even have a foothold once they melted into Nigeria. That was last year, and alarm was raised of their presence. And based on intelligence, a decisive blow was given to them, and so they melted away. But we don't have, as I'm telling you now, a particular area you say this is where, or this is a Lakarawa terrorist, or this, they have escaped out of.
All right, you're still listening to Citizen FM 93.7 and its Insights. And our guest this morning is Major General Marcus Ganje, who is the Director of Defense Media Operations, and has been giving us updates on the military operations across the country. We'll take a short break now. When we return, Insights will continue. Please don't go.
We are Nigeria. And when we talk, we share our views on Talk Radio 93.7, Citizen FM. A people united.
Stay informed and be ahead of the FM Abuja.
Yejibo nupenci jitukpa sanka shiri ne gaggan gbana nga ya ce labiya mi radio Citizen 3.7 FM Abuja bo talata ndoro efin guba lo efin guta gani be mi to egie yagie yanyae yayae eyae Aisha Shaibu Badegi nga ce la shiri ne gaggan gbana biya mi radio Citizen FM 3.7 Abuja bo talata ndoro galugwa ya wo labari mo nupenci shiga zewo gangba ekun giwa se ye gashi tupa.
Did you miss out on the news during the week? Not to worry. Retrospect is here to make up for the missed information. Retrospect is a complete package of all the major news headlines that made the airwaves from Sunday to Saturday. Join me, Esther Nwusu, on the Retrospect. We keep you informed.
For a voice, do you want Citizens 93.7 FM? For a voice, do you want Citizens 93.7 FM Abuja? Join the conversation as we dissect the latest trends, challenges, and successes affecting and much more. Be part of Student Affairs Abuja. Student Affairs 7 FM Abuja.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen 93.7 FM here in Abuja. My name is Lawrence Omoite. Yes, our guest on the show is Major General Marcus Ganje, Director of Defense Media Operations. And he's been giving us a lot of information concerning the exploits of the Nigerian military across various theaters. Collaboration with neighboring countries have remained talking points for observers. For the Nigerian military, it has increased the challenge.
The Sahel that are coming up from Libya enters into the Sahel region. The countries of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, if they are going to fight those insurgents that are coming down from back on us, and I believe we won't act the way they are doing. All we need to do is to ensure how we can still come up, synergize, and fight this common enemy. Naturally, they will come, but it will also give us more work to do. And because if they are coming downwards towards our border, we cannot allow them, but have to intensify effort to ensure that we don't allow them come down to us.
Well, are you one of those who believe that military contractors should be employed to solve the insecurity situation in the country? Well, the general believes there's no need for that because he says the end of insurgency is in sight.
Okay, you are talking of Nigeria going to hire mercenaries to come and fight for us. What are we having to fight again now? We are almost done with this fight because the successes recorded by Nigeria in the last 1 year suggest that the end to this insurgency is even in sight. Why am I saying so? When you take indices right from 2014, when we started having this issue of insurgency, up to 2022-23, by 2023-24, we have recorded very significant achievement against fight against terrorism and insurgency. And even what is going on in the field now, they don't have, organized body like they used to have before. All they are doing now is to look for soft target and hit and make impact. They try as much as possible to avoid military confrontation. Don't also forget that these terrorists, they have sympathizers, they have informants, and they have sponsors, whether domestic or foreign. Now, coming to informants, each time our troops goes out in pursuit of them, the informants will tell them that the military has gone from point A, probably they're going towards point B, and this is the route they are going to follow. And that is why in some cases, you hear either they plant and provide explosive devices against our troops, or an attack against you that you don't have premonition about. And that is why sometimes ambush used to record success. So if they will make noise over it, but that they should get, we are on the chase for them, particularly what is happening in the northwest in the last 3 weeks. Oh, so much has been achieved.
Okay, what about the relationship between them to achieve this? Incidentally, our guest today, General Kanje, was once the chief of military civilian.
In terms of the relationship between the military and the host communities where they are operating, Department of Defense Civil Military Affairs, they are working hard in collaboration with similar departments at Army headquarters, Naval headquarters, and Air Force headquarters. All these headquarters have a department they call Civil Military Affairs. Like I told you, I was once holding sway as the Chief of Civil Military Affairs Army, an appointment I held for 2.5 years. So what was my role? My role was to intercede between members of the Nigerian Army and the members of the Nigerian society, educating them on what the Nigerian Army is doing, the operations they are carrying out, and what are the responsibilities of the civil population to the military that are operating in their place, is to give them credible information about the terrorists. Mind you, these terrorists we are talking about, they are not spirits. They are members of those communities, and the communities know them. It's just that in some cases, if they know that the communities are giving, any member of the community is giving information about them, they will go and attack that person or even attack his family. That is the reason why they find it very difficult to come out openly to give information. But by and large, they are giving us credible information about that. And that is why we are making successes along that corridor, based on intelligence we are getting from them and also the intelligence our military is giving us.
It's still Insight on Citizen 93.7 FM. Our guest today is Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Ganje. And the military has over the years been very critical of some foreign media organizations and even human rights groups on their interventions, especially at the various theaters of military operations.
Well, there are international organizations. Everybody has freedom of speech, and you are free to say what you want. But some of the reports that emanate from these NGOs and Amnesty International, they are not what we sanction, and they are not what we take wholeheartedly. Why? Because they did not ask us, how is this, and we tell them. They generate their report. The indices and the parameters they use is with them. But for us, we know what happened, and we know how it happened, and we know where and how. So for you to come and tell me, for instance, like I used to tell them, even when I have press brief, somebody asked a question like that about the terrorist index. I say, look, I am the head of a house. My family members are there, my wife, my children. And you are my friend. So if there should be a credible source of information about the happenings in my house, I should be able to give you. Not you, my friend, to come and tell me that this is what is happening in your house, this is what is happening, this is what. Your information is based on what? Yes. But when I give you that this is what is happening in my house, that should be the most credible. And so, we that are doing this operation, we are the ones at the front line. The NGO, Amnesty International, they will get their information from third party. But our troops are at the front line. They will tell us this is what has happened. And if we put out that information to the public, because we brief the press every week, we brief the press on the operations of the armed forces of Nigeria. So I think that our report should be the authentic source of information, which is taken directly from the field, not through a third party. So whatever they say, I think they are entitled to their opinions, but they cannot force it on our court.
Well, the Nigerian military recorded some setbacks last year. In March 2024, the Nigerian Army lost 17 soldiers, including the commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Ali, while on a peace mission in the Okwama community of Delta State. The passing of the former Chief of Army Staff, General Taoreed Lagbaja, was also a very particularly bitter moment for the Nigerian military.
Well, thank you so much. It is true. Something like that happened last year, where unfortunately we lost a commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Ali, and some of his soldiers in the Okoma community in Delta State. It was unfortunate that we have to lose those kind of that kind of number from the hands of our citizens. But by and large, the military has directed an investigation be carried out, and I'm sure very soon the report will reach the Chief of Defense Staff, and an action will be taken against it.
All right. Another sad incident was that the nation also lost the Chief of Army Staff some time ago also. How has the defense headquarters, the whole, the Nigerian military, how do they feel about that?
Well, last year we lost the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Torud Abiodun Labaja. Sadly, it was a national tragedy. It was very, very sad, and since death is a natural phenomenon, and man has no control over it. So we had to take faith in the will of God about what has happened. And the whole nation, Mount General Labaja, and General Labaja has done so much through his career, not only as Chief of Army Staff. He's a general that, while as a Lieutenant Colonel, commanded 2 units, commanded 2 brigades, and commanded 2 divisions of the Nigerian Army before ascending to the office of the Chief of Army Staff. So he has contributed a lot to the security architecture of this country, and worked hard to stabilize the security situation in the land. Unfortunately, we lost him. And as you know, there cannot be vacuum anywhere. Mr. President appointed Lieutenant General Oluede to succeed our late Chief of Army Staff. And General Oluede has already hit the ground running, and has stepped up from where late General Torud Abiodun Labaja left.
However, it was not all gloom for the Nigerian military last year. There were some happy moments. Nigeria hosted the Army Game and shone as a lot of medals were won by our military officers and men.
I feel great, because it is always said that all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy is a popular saying. The Nigerian military don't joke with sports. Physical fitness is one of our critical aspect of our job. If you are not physically fit, you may not be able to fight well. You may not be able to operate well. So we take physical fitness seriously, and to that extent, the Nigerian military has sportsmen and women that compete favorably in every kind of sport you think that is being done in Nigeria. Personally, I'm a squash player. I play tennis, and I do it very well. So we are very happy Nigeria hosted it, and we won so many laurels, gold medal, bronze, silver. We are happy for it. The Chief of Defense Staff welcomed them well. They did very well, and we encourage them to do more, so that we can also have them at international arena. You know, we have international military games as well. Aside that of Africa, there's one we call CISM, CISM games. Nigerian military also participate in CISM. So it's a very good thing, and we feel very happy that Nigeria did well. Nigeria.
Curbing oil theft and the challenges of allegations of corruption and collusion of officials, the Nigerian ministry says its officers and men are effectively on ground and are performing their lawful duties. The general challenged Nigerians to come up with information if there is any collusion amongst the officers and men.
Well, the issue of crude oil theft in the Niger Delta is not new. This is something we have been coping with for a very long time now. All I can tell you is that the Nigerian military, through the operation being conducted in South, is doing very well to ensure that the theft of crude oil is brought to the barest minimum. You may not be able to stamp it out completely, because what is going on in the Niger Delta could be a collision between so many interest groups. But when you say the military is conniving, very corrupt in the conduct of the anti-bunkery operations in the Niger Delta, anybody can come up to put up a narrative there, either to discredit what the military is doing or to give credence to what they are doing. Everybody that is passing those kind of narratives, if and only if there has been substantial evidence against what he's saying. Otherwise, I can't see myself in charge. You know, give me your money to keep for you, and when you come back, I will tell you that the money is missing and it is in my pocket, or I will be the one that will organize for the stealing of the money. So it's going to be very funny. Well, if there are empirical, the person should come out with it. He should name a commander. This is what happened. I saw him with this. He went and bought. Then
Okay, as we were about to round off the interview, we sought to know how Nigerians can help the Nigerian military in its campaign against insurgency.
Well, thank you so much. Like I told you earlier from the beginning of this interview, that fighting insurgency, maintaining national security of a society approach, the military, other security agencies, the police, members of the Nigerian society, civil society, market women, human rights groups, the media, who are also critical stakeholders in this fight, because they have to, like you are interviewing me now, you have to bring it back. You have to go and play it for Nigerians to listen. So we owe information about what happens in your environment, so that the military can act on that information and address any insecurity challenge that is in the place. All we want is just cooperation, support, and credible information.
All right, as a parting shot, we couldn't help but sought to know why someone would deliberately, voluntarily decide to lay down his life in defense of his fatherland.
Well, even before you become a general, you would have taken that decision. Because when you decided that you want to serve in the military, I think you should have known what military is doing first. What is the role of, what do they do? And like you said, even during our interview, when we are entering the NDA, they will ask you, why do you want to join the army? Or why do you want to enter NDA? You know, we'll say, I want to defend my country, I want to fight for my country, I want to do this, I want to do this. So even before you become the general, you would have agreed to lay down your life for this nation in defense of Nigeria. So for me, I took the oath as a cadet. And that was where they asked us. And we responded that I will go wherever ordered, by land, sea, or air. It's a vow that we took as a cadet under 20 years. So you have already agreed. You have vowed to lay down your life. And having taken that decision at that time, then at no point along the trajectory from cadetship to generalship will you deviate from that vow. And that is what has kept us all through to this time. That we are still giving it. Our lives are still laid in defense of this country. And what we expect is that members of the Nigerian society should appreciate that we have laid down our life. And that's what we are doing.
Oh, well, that's it on Insights. Today, our guest has been Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Ganje. General Ganje previously served at the headquarters of the Nigerian Army Corps of Artillery. His expertise is in operational strategy and media relations. Is expected to strengthen the defense headquarters' efforts in managing public perception and countering misinformation. So that's it on Insight today. The program returns tomorrow with another edition. My name is Lawrence Omoiti. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Journey. We've had our finest moments and our darkest hours. Yet we pull ourselves back from the brink every time. We are a resilient people. We are Nigeria. And when we talk, we share our views on Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM. A people united will never